Hey everyone, I want to show off my Genesis Dragon Ruler deck profile. Played this for the first time in a Genesis tournament where it did fairly well. It was just really fun, honestly. So there's a lot of weird tech in here that I want to explain. So with that, I'll just run through the standard stuff. We're starting with three Spectral. For the Baby Rulers, it's odd because I don't have access to all of them, but I'm playing two Stream, Burner, Reactant, and Lightning. Lightning is probably the worst one, just because you kind of want to keep all your Tempests in deck. As for something like Tidal, it's okay to see multiple stream just because you want to get all your titles out of the deck if possible. But with these guys, you typically want to leave one in your deck just for the grind game. So that's it for the Baby Rulers. In the future, if I get access to them, I might consider like playing two of each of them, just to have like more engine. But because of that, because we don't have as much like Dragon engine, we get to play a lot more like fun sub engines. For the big rulers, I'm playing three Tempest, two Blaster, two Tidal, two Redox. Unlike Modern, where Blaster is the best one because you want to see your 10 pie cards, in this version, Tempest is the best one because you play a lot more like Wind Dragon monsters, like the Armed Dragon stuff. Um, but that's it. Only nine Dragon Rulers. I want to say this makes up like 63 points or so. So that's gonna be the majority of our points. And then for a sub Dragon engine we're playing is the Armed Dragon engine. So I don't have level 7, which is why I'm not playing it, but 3 is an upstart, 5 is a searcher for Power Armed or Tempest, and Power Armed is also really good to see because if you see level 5, you can get this, and then this will get you to 3 to upstart. So this is honestly like a really perfect engine for the Dragon Ruler stuff. The reason why I don't play more of these is because you're playing like a very limited number of like the Baby Ruler Dragons, so you don't have as many cards to work with them. So it's not something you want to quite see doubles of. Another dragon we're playing is a Fallen of Albaz. This is really cool because it's a dragon, so it's not really a brick. Because if you are able to play and you like discard this off the Spectral or off the Baby Rulers, and it's already in your grave, you can just Chasma send Redox to summon this back instead of having to title it back during your turn, or instead of having the title send it during your turn. So this card isn't a bad card to draw at all. Then for some kind of non-engine hand traps, we're playing three Ghost Sugar and three Mourner. I play these cards because they're only 3 points each, so they're relatively cheap in terms of like the overall scale. Something like Veiler would be really good as well because it's a level one tuner. But it was 7 points and it wasn't quite worth it. I felt like these cards were just fine. Being on light isn't the best, but it works for Spectral, and this is a win, so it works really well with Tempest. And I really like the PCR art on these cards, so this is more reason for me to play all the fun cards I have but can't use in Modern. Another engine I'm playing is the hands. So two fire hand, two ice hand. These cards are really cool because they feed your tempest and your sorry they feed your blaster and your title. They're also really good at clearing a board. When I was playing this deck in modern, the most annoying thing I had with this deck was you never had utility to like clear cards. The only way this deck could like really clear cards was like in the battle phase and like you summon Chasma and like a bunch of rulers and you like crash over stuff, which only works to a certain degree. So having these cards was actually really good for spot removal. With Dragon Rulers, you could only pop like maybe two cards. You could like Blaster pop, and then you could um, Chasma copy the second Blaster to pop two cards, and that was it. Like you were out of pops. But playing an engine like this is really good because now you can clear back row and monsters, and just you can clear like almost someone's entire board for free, and then you're just giving yourself more resources in the grinding game. So this engine's really good. I think even if I do have access to the AV stuff, I would keep playing this because you don't really have like a crucial normal summon or anything. So these cards are just really valuable, and they kind of act like pseudo tenpai cards sometimes because you can send one of these cards with title depending on like what's happening, and then reborn it back with Redox so that if they do run over these cards, they have to pay a cost to do so, or at least forces your opponent to play around it in a weirder way. So these cards are really cool for me. Another card I did want to show off was Apish School. So most people aren't going to know this card. What this card does is that whenever it's banished, it summons itself back from the banish zone, and then that's it. It does have a normal summon effect, but we don't use that because you need other fish. The biggest, coolest thing with this is that it's just a free resource every turn for title. So whenever you banish it, it'll come back, and then if it dies and it's in the grave, you just keep banishing it. And so whenever you summon it back like this, it doesn't get banished again or stay banished. It just goes to the grave like a normal card. So this card is just a permanent free resources for your title banishes, and I think that's really cool. and it helped set up your rank 4 place to where if these cards weren't valuable in the battle phase, you could make a rank 4 with these cards. And this is also another really good title target to Foolish. And something I would do with Chasma is like if I could make Chasma not using title, you can like Chasma send title for cost to send this, title banish this for free, and then your board is Chasma, title, and this. So um, it's just it was just like a really cool resource card. S300 tax is really weak, so you're not gonna be able to use it to beat down anything. It's just like free rank 4 material, I guess, or synchro material. So this card is really nice. Additional ones I'm playing is the Jet Synchron, Swift Scarecrow, and the Emissary of Wax. So I wanted to play two Emissary of Wax, but I couldn't have two, so I just played Swift Scarecrow. I just wanted more good cards to draw into with like Super Rejuve and like Sacred Sword, stuff like that. Because this deck is really good in the grind game, but it's hard to live. Like this deck doesn't put up like an oppressive board, and also doesn't have room to play a lot of hand traps to like stop your opponent. So playing more cards that just stop you from dying felt really good. This card's a much better version of Swift Scarecrow, but um, I like this card, so I may as well play it. But if I do get a second Emissary, I'd probably just play that over the Swift Scarecrow. Then for the spells, playing 3 Here There Be Dragons, 3 Sacred Sword, 1 Super Rejuve. I only have one. If I had 3, I would definitely play 3, but I only have one. And then 1 Brandon Red. This card's really cool because the idea is that you can like tag out with your opponent's monster with Albaz and then make a Jade, and then Jade will send Albion, and then you can search this, and then you can fuse with any ruler in your hand, and then I'll trigger the ruler too, which is also something really cool. This doesn't matter too much. I just threw this in. This could also just be a Brandon White, where you could Miracle Fusion for your Albaz instead, and that'd be perfectly fine. But that's it for the main deck. I think it's like 43 cards. It's kind of just like Dragon Rulers plus a bunch of junk, but the junk is what makes it really fun for me. So, I there is some good logic to the junk, but some of it could be cut depending on what you feel like. For the extra deck, I'm playing 2 Chasma, 1 Eclipse, and then 1 Disaster Dragon. Um, there's a real chance that I just play more of these cards because when you're running into Cool Tune, which might be much more of a thing in Genesis, there's a really good chance you could lose any one of these dragons, and that stops your play. So it would probably be worthwhile to play more of these, and that means you have to take out the junk. So just a heads up for anyone who wants to play this deck against Cool Tune. Some random rank 7 spam is the Draco Snacks, the Doom Rider, and the Big Eye. I never summon these cards honestly, but they're always nice to have. These cards are really cool. So if you're under like weird floodgates, you can like make this and distribute it to like beat Skill Drain or something. And this card does the same thing as Draco Snacks, but it hits a face-up card and it stays on the board, which could be important depending on like how you want to play. And the Big Eye's always cool. So nothing too crazy with this. And then that's really it for the extract. Truthfully, the extract is really only important for these 4. Everything else is just flexible. So because I decided to play more fun cards, so I'm playing a Scarlight. This really only comes up for the Jet Synchron. Um, this really only comes up for the Jet Synchron where you have like Jet plus a ruler. It also could come up if you happen to like summon Emissary, have a Jet, and then like have a free level 4 or something. It could also work with like one of your level 3 tuners in which you just have some weird combination of stuff. I'm not really too sure, but this card is just probably the best level 8 I could make in a toolbox. Especially if you can like Foolish a title, send Jet, and you can like make this once you make a rank 7 Chasma. So this card's really cool. Some 2 rank 4s I'm playing is the Light Dragon and the Sereno Dragon. Out back row, out monsters. Your fire and your ice hands already do that, so in theory you don't really need these cards, and you could just have rank 4s that cover different applications. But I felt like these were good because in the case where like something like happens where your battle phase has already occurred, or you're worry about playing into weird traps, you can just make these cards and force out the threat earlier without having to use your battle phase. One black rose just because you have level 3 tuners and like level 4s, so this could be a very free interaction. And then we're playing 4 Albaz fusions, playing Dogma, Mirror Jade, Albion, and the Star Source Dragon. So these are like your Albaz targets, to where if you summon Albaz during your opponent's turn, you'll either make a Mirror Jade with their extract monster, or if they just have bodies, you'll make the Dogma Dragon because this is generic enough. And then the idea with these two is that if you make a Mirror Jade, you'll want to send this one because you're never fusioning into this, and like you absolutely have to, because then that just makes your Mirror Jade dead. So the best play to do is to like make a Mirror Jade, send the Albion, and then Albion grabs in red, and then you'll in red Albaz plus a ruler into Star Source, and then you'll pop one card. So that's like kind of the way it works. And then this will just be in the extra deck for like whatever. But it's also really cool because if you don't do this line and you keep the Albaz in your grave, you can then just make this on your opponent's turn on the follow up. So this is all really cool. I thought about playing Rinbroom, but uh, Rinbroom just felt unnecessary, and I wanted to make room for other stuff. So this is like probably the minimum package you can play if you wanted to play like some Albaz stuff in your extra deck. I think it's really fun. Gives your deck a little bit more depth in terms of how you choose to interact. So I like that a lot. Plus, I like branded cards. So for the side deck, playing 3 Lava Golem. We're just playing a bunch of Kaijus, honestly. Just 2 Godala, 2 Kumongas. I just play these because they're Wind and Earth, and level 8 is not relevant, but level 7 is. So if you have the bodies, you can give your opponent the 8, and then summon the 7 to your field, and like make a big eye and take it or something. Just all cool stuff. These were the best like side deck cards for me because you could play like a spell that outs a card, like a Dark Ruler or like whatever, but these cards just basically trade 1 for 1, and then um, they're just really good cards, that really easy cards you can swing over. So nothing too crazy. Playing this with Scarecrow as the 15th card because I didn't know what else to play, honestly, and it works if you're going first or you're playing into like a very high tempo deck where they're trying to kill you on the first turn and you can just stop them, you can come back. And then back row move because this deck doesn't have back row move very well, but 3 Cosmic, 2 Twin, and then 2 Storming because this card's like a fun card. This card's more so for fun than anything. You should probably cut this if you want to like play at a more competitive level, I guess, but it seems to me like most people just don't read this card or like play around it because why would you? So it should be a lot of fun to resolve. And that's it for the main side and extra. Yeah, so that's it for the deck. Like I said, I think this deck is really fun. I love being able to play the rulers because it kind of takes me back to like 2014 where they're all at one, and so you had them as like a sort of sub engine where you use them just for like unique bodies to like make synchros or XZs, and it really takes me back to the time where it was just really fun to play. Um, I think one of the best things is that you can play a lot of sub engines to go with the deck to kind of fill out your deck because the rulers can only do so much by themselves. So it gives you a lot of room for like utility, right? Like I prefer maximizing cards that like help me do what the rulers can't. Like the rulers can't clear cards very easily, but something like the hands can. So having that freedom to play a lot of flexibility is really cool. As for changes I might consider making, definitely Super Rejuves. If I get more, I would definitely play more Super Rejuves. I like the Albaz engine. I think it's just a very fun interruption that can't come up a lot actually, and it's also really good for going second because your normal summon isn't very important. So you can like normal summon this, pitch a ruler for free, and then at least force something. Mm, yeah, that would probably be it. The points do change a bit with your engine. I want to say this is like 97 points, so we're like 3 points short away from being at the limit. I'm not sure what would be worth it to play for 3 points, but if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And if you have any other thoughts or like weird tech cards I think I should try with this engine, please let me know on that too. If you've made it at the end, thank you so much for listening, guys. This deck has been a blast to play with, and I look forward to playing with it more. Later, guys.